with Stefs Rock Show. Our next guest, I am very excited about. It's the director and writer of the movie Jawbreaker, Darren Stein. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So I was just telling him right before we started, I was in high school when this movie came out, so it greatly affected me. Such a fan of Courtney, and it's become a cult classic. Did you know at the time making it that it was going to be such a hit?
I didn't, I had no idea. I kind of hoped people would like it, but all you can do is sort of like go ahead and put out your vision and hope people like respond to it.
Yeah. And I was doing some research and it really didn't come together until a couple weeks ago that 1999 was a pivotal year for movies. In my opinion, in my generation, my favorite, we've got The Matrix and Fight Club and American Beauty and Jawbreaker. Did you just hit that good kind of special time? Or did you like the movies in 99 or were you like
Yeah, I
have a
love all
better?
those movies. I love
Okay.
American Beauty, I love Matrix. I mean, Drop Dead Gorgeous came out in 99. It was a really cool year for sure. I feel fortunate. I think it was just the zeitgeist. It was like that, just that the 90s sort of moment, where there's a certain kind of darkness, I guess, that people were expressing in their work. I don't know. It all sort of like came together.
That's a good point. I think the unknown of Y2K and whatnot and darkness in the world and, culturally problems. So to have a fun, light, I wore fun colors because that's what made me think of Jawbreaker movie. It really was a good time. Why do you think it was underappreciated?
I think sometimes, first of all, it was released only on 800 screens, whereas other films were released on 2,000 screens by the studio. It was actually financed by the home video division of Sony. It wasn't even the big Columbia, the big TriStar, and so it was put out through the bigger companies, but it was had a smaller budget, smaller release, not as much marketing. It didn't really have the push that other of its contemporaries had, and so I don't think it had the leg up. I also think it was sort of ahead of its time in that it was a meld of genres, like horror, teen. Um, there's some kind of campy John Waters-esque aspects to it that people maybe weren't quite ready for. But I do feel like the audience that was into it found it. Like they seeked it out.
Yeah,
Um, and
definitely.
and I think it's telling that it found its audience on video, Blockbuster or like on cable. People once it was accessible, once they could get their hands on it, people definitely got into it.
Yeah, and I loved the saying that I read. Jawbreaker walked so Mean Girls could run. I think that's really cool. Like it was before the time. I know Mean Girls is very popular, but it's different. I know people compare the two, but Jawbreaker to me is a lot edgier. And did you know or realize it was going to become a gay cult classic or be in that genre?
Um, I didn't. No. I mean, it's kind of interesting how years and years later, the queer communities and the horror communities have both embraced the film. Whereas when it first came out, it was sort of like, oh, this is kind of weird. It's like this anomaly. Um, but I think some of the best movies are ahead of their time, and they get really poorly reviewed when they come out. People they are misunderstood, and so I think it's kind of great. It's funny because a lot of trans people have told me they've seen themselves in Fern, like in Fern's transformation into Violet and the way Courtney dead names her. And so it's funny because things that I didn't even necessarily think about when I was writing it made their way into sort of the subtext of the film.
That's fascinating. I could see that, but I wouldn't have grasped that prior. And the eating out of the paper bag, all the scenes are great. But of course, the hallway scene is so classic. Me and my girlfriends, we host a music festival called Aftershock coming up soon, and we want to use the Imperial, song when we walk into the festival. Did you choose that song, or was there a
Yeah,
musical person? Okay,
I,
you did.
I had a music supervisor, but I'm really into music. I wrote the screenplay to Holes Live Through This record. I mean, the two records that I had on repeat were Hole Live Through This and Moby's Everything Is Wrong. You know,
Great.
probably also Smashing Pumpkins, like Siamese Dream, but it was like that period. So Courtney is named after Courtney Love, actually. So that has a direct correlation, you know.
I read that, and that's what I was gonna ask you about that. Wild, because Courtney Love had a horrific childhood, and went through so much, but she, came up on top and she's a great artist. I'm such a fan of Hole, but I wouldn't have put those two together. at all. What is the
I
correlation
think a lot of
or
queer punk people love Courtney, love Hole, love that record because there's so much rage against the world in it. And there's a lot of rage that gay people, queer people feel existing in a world that isn't made for them, that they're not sort of part of. They don't see themselves on billboards in culture as much, especially in the 90s. And so I think that there's a correlation between female rockers and gay and queer people. And also, you know, just like, of course, gays love the pop, they're pop girlies too, like Kylie Minogue, Madonna, what have you. But I was always way edgier and more into like, you know, punk and new wave and like glam metal, rock, all that stuff. So
yeah.
Imperial Teen, I was a fan of from their first record. And then we lucked out because the company that was doing the soundtrack, London Records, was putting out Imperial Teen's second album. And they had Yoo-Hoo, the song on the record. And it just fit perfectly because we were trying out all these different songs for that slow motion walk. We tried out like Funboy Three's, like Our Lips Are Sealed, you know, Go-Go's cover.
Yeah.
Cannonball by the Breeders, Elastica Connection. Like we were trying to find like the right vibe. And it turned out that it was Imperial Teen, which I love because I also used their song Waterboy and I think another song of theirs in the movie. So they're sort of all over it. And it's kind of cool because Roddy Bottum, who's an Imperial Teen, was in Faith No More. And so Imperial Teen does have a rock background.
Yeah, I've had Faith No More by the station a lot. I love them.
Oh, cool.
And I dig Rocky Horror Picture Show and But I'm a Cheerleader, and they also became classics and got more appreciated later. Like I said, I wouldn't have pegged Jawbreaker as more of a queer friendly. There's that really hot guy and the popsicle scene that I think a lot of guys could appreciate. How what I want to know, because we have had Marilyn Manson by my old station a lot. How did Manson get casted as the creepy mustache guy at the bar?
Rose was dating him when we were making the movie. And so I said to Rose, I was like, hey, do you think Manson would be in the movie? And he was recording Mechanical Animals at the time. And she said,
Huge. I
check it
mean,
out.
that was the height of his career,
Oh,
pretty
fuck,
much.
I love that record.
Me too.
So Rose was like, so we were like, hey, maybe he'll either play prom or he can like be the creepy man that, you know, she brings home and pegs for the, you know, and makes pegs for the murder. And she said he wanted to be the man, the creepy man. So yeah.
I love that. Well, I'm a fan of Manson. He's always treated me with respect when he's come by the station. Um, and I also looked up that there's a scene that got cut with McGowan and Manson. It was maybe too edgy or whatnot. What are we missing
Didn't
out on?
get cut. It's like,
Okay.
okay, the scene when she's getting, you know, plowed in bed with a dead body
Yeah.
with the
I would have
bed.
liked to see that.
Okay, there were extra, the scene went on longer. There were extra thrusts. And we had
Okay.
to cut out, I think it was 3 or 4 thrusts to get an R rating and not the NC-17 rating. And so that,
Wow. What a very, that's very specific.
yes, that scene was just like truncated, but there was nothing, you're not missing anything.
Okay. Okay. There wasn't some crazy scene that I couldn't see.
No, the film,
Um,
you know, we had such a small budget that, you know, it was a rush to make the movie. We didn't have time to shoot extra scenes. It was sort of like a shot like an independent film, which is like how Rocky Horror and But I'm a Cheerleader and the John Waters movies were shot.
yeah, yeah, 3 million's not a lot even for back in the day. That is a tight budget. So you did a lot with it.
Yeah.
Is why the Jawbreaker? Why did you choose that?
Because I'm a twisted fuck. No. Because when I was a kid, I was fascinated by Jawbreakers. I thought they were so weird, like the way people would carry them and like lick them and like save them, and they were hard. There was something, and they were colorful, and there was something just other. There's like this otherness to the candy itself. And then when I was like, well, how do these girls kill their friend? They kidnap her and they're going to kill her by accident, but how do they do it? And I think I had seen Pulp Fiction where they have like the ball gag or some kind of BDSM movie. I saw a ball gag in something, and I'm like, oh, maybe they use a ball gag to gag her to keep her quiet in the trunk. And then that can, oh, and if it's a Jawbreaker, because they're girls and they're into candy and it's a Jawbreaker, it's kind of a girly thing. It could melt in her mouth because it's made of sugar and get stuck in her throat. So that's sort of where the whole Jawbreaker came from.
I think I got scared to eat a Jawbreaker afterwards. I'm like, oh my gosh, is they gonna get stuck?
And I kind of love that Jawbreaker did with to Jawbreakers what Jaws did with to sharks. I think that's kind of cool.
We then got scared to eat the candy. Did the candy ever try to sue you, the company?
Not that I know of. I mean, Connie Francis
Okay.
tried to sue us because she wasn't thrilled that Lollipop Lips was playing under that sex scene where she has her boyfriend suck the popsicle.
Oh my gosh, weird.
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
I guess Connie Francis's label, like, or the publishing, like, agreed to let us use it, and then when she realized how it was being used, like, she was not happy about it.
Strange. I would be stoked if anything of mine wound up in Jawbreaker. That's such a neat movie. Okay, weird. Can I ask you random questions?
Yeah.
Okay. What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is the original Alien, by Ridley Scott. I love horror. I love super dark monster movies, and as a kid, I was just completely fascinated by it. And the filmmaking so elegant. I love Ripley as the sort of like final girl of that movie, and it's such a strong female empowerment film. And then the alien itself is so terrifying. I had never seen anything like it, and I think the film really holds up.
Do you ever go and show up to horror conventions to talk with Jawbreaker?
I have done a couple of horror conventions. I did Spooky Empire in Florida, with the girls from the movie, with Rose and Julie Benz and Rebecca. It's so funny because we've all done conventions, but I don't think we've all been in the same place since making the movie. Like, there's always one missing.
Wow.
Like, it'll be like all of us except Judy, or all of us except Rose. So it's hard to get. It's been virtually like we haven't all been together since making the film, which is weird.
Because
And
you're so busy.
well, everyone's busy, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard for us all to be in the same place. I was just in London, and I got to hang out with Rose. Happened to be in London as well, so we got to see each other there, which was nice.
How cool is that? Just same
Very
time.
cool. Yeah, we're still
Yeah.
friends. Yeah.
That's neat that you're still close with a lot of people in the cast all these years later.
We were all so young when we made it. We were all in our 20s, and I think it was a really fun bonding experience. And, I don't know. I'm friends with people in all my movies that I've made. I've made 3 films. I have 3 features that I've directed. And I like to be able to maintain friendships. My friendships are important to me. And I think actors in your films are, if they become friends with you, you can still kind of maintain that.
I agree. I agree. Do you have a dream actor that you haven't worked with yet that you want to work with in the future?
I would love to work with Parker Posey. I think she's hilarious. Parker, Tony Collette, Tilda Swinton. Funnily, all 3 of them are Scorpios as well, which is pretty cool.
Wait, are you a Scorpio or what are you?
I'm a Capricorn.
Okay.
I'm Christmas Eve, but I'm a Cancer rising and an Aries moon.
I'm an Aries. I got it
Awesome.
tattooed.
Look at that.
I'm-
I got Capricorn tattooed here.
I love it. I think that means we're mentally unstable. That's what I read.
Oh, Aries?
I mean, like that we're into horoscopes and astrology in general. That's
No,
like,
I think all the cool people are into that stuff.
I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, I think it's just a way to understand ourselves and others. It's just a tool. That's all.
What's a one you like to date a lot?
I wouldn't say I have I don't use astrology to be like, I can't date these people.
Yeah.
I just don't think, I don't want to like leave someone out, but I think it's good. Like if someone has, what some of your top 3, it'd be good. Like maybe an Aries would be good for me, or maybe another Capricorn, and Earth, Capricorn's an Earth sign. So maybe a Taurus or a Virgo, maybe a Cancer, because my Cancer is rising and that's water. So it just depends, but there's not one I wouldn't. I mean, do you have someone that you kind of don't like, would not want to date?
I have had Gemini really are two-faced and have switched it up. And then Cancers are highly emotional. And I'm a blunt person. I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel. So we're not a good, I think, pair. But I like fire in general. All my Leo, Sag, and Aries were all so nutties that
Yeah.
I like to have fire on fire sometimes.
I love my Leo. I love all my fire signs. Yeah. And I'm glad that my moon's in Aries, because I like that my emotions are like kind of like in your face. It's pretty fun.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
like,
interesting.
yeah, it's sort of like, you definitely know what I'm feeling. And I think that's good. Like there's no miscommunication.
Yeah, I don't like anybody hiding how they're feeling. I want you to come, and I'm a big girl. I can handle it and tell me exactly what's up. But okay, what has been your favorite response about Jawbreaker?
Um, it's been empowering to people, just like the trans thing, like getting a message from a trans actress saying, I saw myself for the first time in this character. And she feels so strongly that she has to message me on Instagram to let me know that. You know what I mean? Or gay guys who are like, oh, dude, my VHS is worn out from that scene with the popsicle. That's how I
Yeah.
realized I'm gay. Or, people who just feel like when I need strength, when I need to feel strong, I strut my shit down the hallway like everything's peachy fucking keen. And I think about the Imperial Teen song. And so I just like that the movie has empowered people. I think that's really nice. And I get messages a lot about that.
That's how I messaged you. I redid on TikTok the peachy fucking cane, because everyone joked I looked a little bit like Courtney. And so I was like, I want to redo that scene. It blew up on TikTok. And that's how I said, I got to find the director and have him buy this new podcast. Because I've only had like Todd Phillips and Adam McKay, a couple directors buy, but I want to have more because I'm so obsessed with movies. I feel like movies and music go hand on hand. If you like one, you're kind of really into
Wait,
the
Todd
other.
Phillips to the Joker, right?
Yeah. In
Yeah,
The Hangover.
he and I went to NYU together.
Nice. Did
Yeah,
you guys vibe at all
we were
or?
both undergrad at the same time. I don't know if we knew each other, but I also went with Sean Baker, and I remember I went to go see a screening of one of Sean's movies. I think it was Red Rocket, and Todd was interviewing Sean, and then I realized, oh fuck, we all went to NYU together. It's crazy because NYU is kind of a big school, so you don't know everybody, but I think Todd's great. I love his work, and I wanted to do your podcast because you're so cool. I love rock, I love music,
Oh, thank
and
you.
I just love the idea of being on a rock show.
I know. Even though I've done rock radio for 20 years, I'm like, I like porn stars. I like directors. There's a lot of people that I think are very fascinating that I would be privileged to get to talk to. And so I'm kind of just branching out into a little bit of everything.
Oh yeah, sex work is real work. I love porn
Yes.
stars as well. I'm really
Yeah.
close friends with Love Bailey, who's like a trans sex worker who's really empowering to the community. She has a ranch called Savage Ranch where she has people.
Ooh.
You should have her on your show. She's really wild.
Yes.
Yeah, Love Bailey.
I want that's
Um,
I've been having more of these OnlyFan models and they are fascinating me, like what they get asked to do with their clients and they make so much money. I think it's so neat. It's not for me, but I absolutely love to like listen to it and empower it.
oh, for sure. I mean, it's the oldest profession.
Yeah, definitely. I just do it for free. That's my problem. I'm messing up. My bad. Okay. What door has opened from Jawbreaker? Like the coolest door that opened up for you?
One cool door is I got to direct a fashion film for Alexander Wang.
Wow.
That's pretty wild. Yeah, that was a couple years ago. He is a fan of the film, and he wanted to do this like sample sale gone awry, where the women all like kind of like tear each other apart, trying to when they announce that everything's for free at the sample sale. And he wanted to do it. The visual he sent out, the tone piece was the prom scene from Jawbreaker. He wanted it to be a collision of the grotesque and the glamorous. And I think someone at the ad company was like, "Well, why don't you just get the director from the movie?" So I had to pitch my take on it, but I got the gig. So that was really fun to meet him, and I really do love fashion and rock. One thing I wanted to mention to you is one of the inspirations for Jawbreaker is rock and roll high school.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the Ramones is a huge inspiration for me, and that's why the Donnas are playing prom because the Donnas are an homage to the Ramones, and the Donnas are an homage to Heathers because they're wearing shirts that say like Donna A, Donna V, all their names. And so that to me, that was a kind of a fun homage to Heathers because Heathers is the mother of all three of these films.
Yeah.
Without Heathers, there'd be no Jawbreaker. Without Jawbreaker, there's no Mean Girls. I think it's sort of a space time candy continuum.
Brings it all together. I've had the Ramones by. I love them, but I didn't put together the Donnas and the Ramones having a correlation at all until just said that.
Well,
That makes
yeah,
sense.
because and PJ Souls, who played Riff Randall in Rock and Roll High School, plays Liz Purr's mom. So that's another connection. She was also in Carrie and Halloween.
There
And
is
rock
a
and roll,
rock connection to Jawbreaker,
there is.
and the
It's
soundtrack
rock.
rocks too.
It's a rock and roll movie for sure. Yeah, that's always the way it's been intended to be. And I think that sets it apart also from Heathers and Mean Girls.
Yeah. You know how many people get shocked when I go Manson's and Jawbreaker? They go, no, no way. And I go, dude, it's just a mustache. And that makes sense they were dating, but I didn't know if he was casted and that's how they met was on the film, but she actually brought him in.
They'd already been dating. And he would come and hang out on the set a lot. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, he's really smart.
Yeah, he
He's
walked up
really
to me
smart.
once and he's like, my boyfriend was like taking behind the scenes footage. And Manson walks up to me and he puts my hood. I was wearing a hoodie and he puts the hood on my head and he goes, I think being in a film by Darren Stein makes me gay. That was his comment, which I thought was hilarious.
I know he played with Twiggy a little bit, back in the day. So he's definitely experimented. I think everybody, by the way, is bisexual. That's my take on it. I like people. I like everything. I don't think anyone's straight. They're lying. It's like a spectrum.
Well, they say the Kinsey scale is 1 to 5. So what is the middle of? Is there a straight up middle to that? It seems like it's always leans a little bit in one direction.
Yeah, I've gone full blown into this crazy world. I've been dating gay guys on and off
Yeah.
sometimes, and
Wow.
it's been shocking people. Them. It's fun to switch it up
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
roles,
I love that journey for you.
It's been a journey for a long it's because okay, I'll be like, I don't know if you've ever
Yeah.
listened to any of my shows. I'm big on pegging, like, that's my thing, and
Oh,
so it's just kind of fallen into that category
well,
of,
speaking
you
of
know.
pegging, I do feel like the scene when Courtney, she essentially pegs Dane with that popsicle, orally. And that's what that scene is. Because I wanted to
That's
write a
hot.
scene
That's hot.
that I didn't get to see in John in Pretty in Pink, or like Ferris
Yeah.
Bueller's the Breakfast Club. I wanted the scene that was kind of queer and kind of something more subversive, and I couldn't back in '99. I guess Courtney, she dominates that dude, and it's kind of hot.
Yes. I like a powerful woman, and she
Mhm,
embodies that for sure.
mhm.
Okay, what's a goal for your future that you still wanna do?
I have so many more films I want to make. I'm pitching a horror series right now. I'd love to make. It's like a possession horror series. I have written Jawbreaker the movie musical for Columbia, so I would love to remake Jawbreaker as a musical for the stage and the screen. That's something that's
So
sort of
cool.
in process. And just, get to make more films. I would really love to lean into the horror genre more. Jawbreaker began as a horror film, but as soon as I began writing the dialogue, it became more of a comedy. And so I would like to really just make my straight up horror film.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
Yeah.
Okay, LA or New York?
Right now for me it's London. I'm
Okay.
feeling London these days,
Are
but
you dating someone in London? What
I'm
brought you to
not. But I
London?
was just there
Okay.
for a month. I had the best time. I had such a good time there. It's such a cool city. The people are so awesome. There's so much fashion, culture, food, energy. I just like really found a groove there. But New York and LA are both equals to me. I mean, I'm from LA. I grew up in Encino. My dad worked in Hollywood. My parents are both from LA. So I feel like LA is my blood, but New York is my family's from New York. I went to college there. I mean, New York's so like CBGB's, it's like the birth of punk and everything. And the Ramones, musical theater. I like both. I can't tell you LA or New York.
You can't choose.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm NorCal all the way. I love San Francisco and Sacktown. That's where I'm from. But lived in LA for a while, so I also have like a deep love for Los Angeles. But New
Oh,
York, I'm not an East Coast girl.
speaking of San Francisco, you should have Peaches
Yeah.
Christ. You should have Peaches Christ on your show.
Peaches is really cool. Like it's
Mhm.
so we're gearing up. Aftershock Music Festival is October 2nd for 4 days straight, and it's the biggest in the world metal festival. So right
Mhm.
now, like you're my only exception of people that
Well,
I want by. But now it's like we're 115 bands backstage in
wow.
October. So we are writing all the questions for that. And once that's over, that's like the Super Bowl of rock, and then it's like I'll get back to probably November sending requests out to have more people on. But yeah, I would love to have like drag kings and drag queens on and stuff.
For
They're so
sure. I,
fun.
I I actually produced the film that Peaches directed called All About Evil, that Natasha Lyonne's in and Elvira's in and Mink stole from the John Waters movies. It's pretty cool.
I saw it too. Yeah, you've been cross promotion and doing a lot with them, and that's neat. That's really
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah.
Okay, could you choose writing or directing?
Both. I mean, I like to write, I like to direct, I like to do both. I mean, directing is the best because you have like this whole big crew working with you and you get to collaborate and it's so exciting to facilitate a vision. So ultimately I would have to say directing because writing is a little bit more lonely and solitary. So yeah, I would say directing.
Do you direct in the bedroom?
Oh wow.
I feel like
Um,
that's a thing. I really
Good.
do
I
because
could
I've dated directors.
I could go both ways. I could be dominant or submissive. I could get into both journeys. I definitely love a power dynamic in the bedroom. I think that's a lot. It's very sexy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I feel like some directors though, they don't stop directing and they still kind of like to be more in charge.
And other directors are totally like don't want to have to direct at all, and they're completely submissive. So it's
Ah,
like
okay.
or some like big executives like they make all these decisions all day, and then when they're in bed, they just want to be dominated. So I think it could
That
go.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Kind of so much stress and things and they're in charge a lot, so then maybe being more submissive later. That does make sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one more random question. Do you think Jawbreaker could have been such a hit with four male leads?
No, because it's like girls, it's about sexuality. It's about the secret life of girls. Guys don't kidnap their friends for fun. That's when guys kidnap someone, it's to kill them. It's to, it's much more insidious. The girl thing of kidnapping your friends in high school, as a gay guy, I was like, oh, my friend's sister's getting kidnapped. I was fascinated by it because, as gay guys were like drawn to feminine things, that the world of the feminine. And I thought it was so just hardcore that girls did that to their friends. And then I was like, oh, well, what is the horror movie in that? And that's where Jawbreaker was born.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and stopping by Stefs Rock Show and Rock 96.7. And I can't wait for future projects and to see what you've got going on soon.
Thanks, Steph. You're awesome. I loved meeting you.